Morning, folks. I have got some breaking news for you this morning. I don't know if it's good or bad or indifferent, but we're going to get into it and look at all the possibilities, the pros and the cons of what just happened. And I want to find out a little more about it. That'll tell the story more than just the endorsement alone. I know you don't know what I'm talking about, folks, so stick around. We'll get to it here directly. It is definitely worth talking about. Tell me what you think in the comment section down below. Give me your full opinion of the situation, if you would. Let's go ahead and get into it. This is a mess, folks, but it may end up being great for Mr. 2024, Donald J. Trump. It says a kiss of death. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis just got a big old smooch from none other than George Soros, Mr. World Economic Forum, tyrannical socialist, globalist is actually the proper term for him at this point. It says Florida Governor Ron DeSantis just received the kiss to death from George Soros. This could not be worse for DeSantis. When the devil likes you, you might be doing something wrong. Now, I will be speculating before the end of this article here as to why I think this was done. But first, let's go ahead and read a little bit about it. It says, when the devil likes you, you might be doing something wrong. Now, George Soros famously admitted to helping the Nazis in World War II. Steal from the Jews and take their booty. He said in a 60-minute interview 20 years ago from Ukraine, of all places, that he didn't do it, then someone else would, shrugging it off like no big deal. I know y'all know about George Soros. If you listen to this channel, this man is behind the BLM movement. He is behind this green new energy stuff. It says after this relationship with the Nazis, George Soros was somehow given U.S. citizenship and has been a huge funder of the Democrat Party, actually the top donor to the Democrats. Soros is connected with a number of nonprofits, and now here's the problem, which are supposed to be non-biased per U.S. tax law. These nonprofits are ruthless attack dogs. Soros-related groups were behind many of these riots during the Trump administration. He backed the DAs in cities who refused to indict criminals. He promoted the BLM riots. And he paid for corrupt Secretary of States in swing states in order to do the thing. You know what I'm talking about, folks. Gaining a Soros recommendation is not a good thing for DeSantis. Now, I'm curious as to what DeSantis will say, how he will weigh in on this. It says the conservative treehouse reported on Thursday saying that DeSantis is shrewd, ruthless, and ambitious. George Soros delivered an endorsement on Friday for governor, adding he is likely to be the Republican candidate. When a billionaire leftist creepy globalist like George Soros is complimenting your personality attributes, it just might be doing the whole Republican presidential candidate thing wrong. Just saying. Now, I will get into my speculation here directly, folks, but let's go ahead and listen to this first. Listen to a little bit of Mr. George Sorry Ass, as I call him.
My hope for 2024 is that Trump and Governor DeSantis of Florida will slug it out for the Republican nomination. Trump has turned into a pitiful figure, continually bemoaning his loss in 2020. Big Republican donors are abandoning him in droves. DeSantis is shrewd, ruthless, and ambitious. He is likely to be a Republican candidate.
I'm going to go ahead and finish reading the article to you, folks, and I'm going to get a little bit of speculation going on here at the end. So in a wide-ranging speech, Soros ripped Trump's presidency and complimented elements of DeSantis' style. DeSantis is shrewd, ruthless, and ambitious. Soros is an international financier and a philanthropist, typically dumps millions of dollars into political races and committees he heads as global liberal networks of groups pushing climate change, financial reform, changes to the criminal system. He recently teamed up with Charles Koch of the Koch brothers and the Rockefeller brothers fund to revive the Iran nuclear deal, according to the report. This man is all kinds of evil, just my opinion, but that's what I see. Soros hates President Trump and did all he could to get him removed from office. In fact, the fact that he shared this about DeSantis is not a good thing for the Florida governor. What happened was Trump went to the World Economic Forum a few years back, and when he got there, they thought he was going to play ball, being president at the time, and jump right on board with their global scare tactic, warmongering, fear-mongering mentality behind all this stuff, including the mandate, Jabberdoodle mandate and stuff, and the climate change agenda to, I guess, rewrite the world. Trump gave him the double-barrel middle finger, said, we ain't doing it like that. We are not about scaring our people. We're about freedom. We're about free speech. We're about the things y'all are not for. We are about America first. We are not about globalists first. And at that point, they realized they could not get Trump to play ball with the George Soros, Klaus Schwab, Harari, those types, World Economic Forum, Bill Gates types. And so at that point, they decided they got to get Trump out. Then 2020 happened. Everybody knows what happened in 2020. And they know 2024 is coming right around the corner, and Trump is coming back. 2024, folks. It is not long now. We are on a countdown now. And we've only got one real contender for Trump. And I'll get into that here directly. And that is DeSantis. But right now, we all know, including George Soros, that Joe Biden will not make it. And so, therefore, there is nobody on the Democratic Party that seems to be a viable candidate to run against DeSantis or Trump at this point. And so, the de facto answer for Mr. Soros is anybody but Trump, because the Democratic Party is not going to make it. They done bought the Democratic Party wholeheartedly, and the Democratic Party are drinking the Kool-Aid from the Soros Foundation. They don't need to buy them anymore. The Democratic Party is not going to have the votes they're going to need to beat DeSantis or Trump in 2024. They got to get behind the guy that's against Trump. Now, whether Governor DeSantis accepts donations from George Soros, that's the million-dollar question. We do not know at this point, folks, but we will be looking into that. Not too much speculation on that, but we will be hearing, I'm sure, DeSantis weighing in on this situation as well. Now, does DeSantis accept George Soros' endorsement? Or does he shrug it off and say, no, it ain't nothing? And then we come to find out later the money flowed in anyway. We don't know yet, folks. Like I said, a little bit of speculation at this point, but we do know that Trump is going to win in 2024. DeSantis is the only contender that has a snowball's chance in hell of beating Trump in 2024. And therefore, the freak shows are all getting behind anybody that could possibly run against Trump. Now, depending on how DeSantis handles this situation, will be deciding if this kiss of death sticks or not. But I would definitely say it is not a good move for DeSantis to be snuggling up to George Soros. Now, we will have to find out a little more about this to find out if DeSantis denounces this, whether he denounces it publicly, takes the money anyway. We don't know yet. We haven't got that far into this crazy situation yet, but it cannot be good for DeSantis to have George Soros telling people DeSantis is the one. So, as goes, folks, they hate Trump so bad, to the point they know DeSantis is the only one that is any kind of a contender. So, therefore, the World Economic Forum creep shows like George Soros are doing their damnedest to try to cause opposition to Trump. Now, this could be looked at as, a horrible thing for the country, which if the Florida governor is compromised with Soros money, it is a horrible thing for the country and for Floridians as well. Due to DeSantis' track record at this point, I cannot say for a fact that he has done anything shady, taken any shady money, taken any dark money at this point, but I do believe that he has been doing things to try to help this country since the minute he stepped into office. Now, we're going to have to look into his financial funds and things of that nature, folks, to see what all is really going on. We're going to find out campaign contributions coming from what direction in the next year or so. That will be the tell-all of all this. Now, will DeSantis come out today and announce this endorsement from George Soros? Because I sure wouldn't want that thing at this point. Kind of a crazy situation, folks. This is their attempt to try to push Trump out one more time, just for their hatred of Trump, because they know Trump is not about this globalist world New World Order agenda that is being pumped out by these crazies on the left and these globalists as well. Now, this is the good news about this as far as I'm concerned. This is the takeaway I got from it at this point, considering it is a breaking news story. How will DeSantis respond to this? Will the money flow anyway? Will this hurt DeSantis? Will this help Trump? The answer, we don't know the answer to most of these questions yet, but we do know this is not good for DeSantis. And we do know that anybody that was on the fence about DeSantis and Trump are probably now looking at Trump as the only America First guy running at this point. DeSantis has yet to throw his hat in the ring, but with George Soros backing, and maybe even some of the Democratic Party backing DeSantis over Trump at this point, just for their orange man bad hatred alone, they're trying to do everything they can to make sure Trump can't win again, because they know Trump gets back in there, he's going to clean house. And they're terrified of it. They're terrified of the change that was brought on between 2016 and 2020, and they do not want it back in 2024. You know, Trump's going to take about 300 executive orders and throw them suckers out the window, the ones that Biden has been writing down, been signing off with his crayon. Well, we're gonna have to see how this all turns out, folks. Tell me what you think in the comments section down below. Like, subscribe, and share. I do think this is a horrible thing for the country, but I don't think it is a bad thing for Trump's candidacy. At this point, I guarantee you Trump is going to weigh in on this. And at this point, for everybody trying to figure out who they will be voting for in 2024, it looks like Trump just got a leg up. Thank you, George Soros, for making Trump the only contender in 2024. I don't normally thank George Soros for anything, but if he endorses Governor DeSantis, and Governor DeSantis takes $1 of that George Soros money, he's compromised, and he is not fit to be governor, much less president of the United States. That's all I got for you on this breaking news this morning, folks. I just thought this was the craziest story I could imagine reading on the Gateway Pundit the first thing out of bed this morning. Over and out, folks. Have a great day.